guys, I'm Umair Nazim and welcome to Let's Code. In the previous video, we talked about what is the difference between arrays and ArrayList, and I also showed you some different methods and very benefit methods that we can use for the ArrayList. But in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get the user input in ArrayList. So without wasting any time, let me show you. So to get the user input, as you know that our first step is to import the scanner class here. So for that one, I'm going to write here scanner. Then I have to give a name to my class. So I can give the name, whatever you want, it is up to you. But I write here scan. After that, we have to use here new and then scanner, the class, okay. And within these two parentheses, we have to write here system.in. Okay, so now as you can see, when I scroll my cursor to this scanner here, it is giving some error. Why? Because we didn't import the library. So for that one, in the first option, as you can see, so we have to, when I will click here, we have to import this scanner library. As you can see, our scanner library has successfully imported. Now our first step is completed. Now our second step is, so as you can see, we are dealing with the array list, so we have to create an array list. So for that one, to create an array list, we have to write here array list, okay. And after that, here within these two diamond symbols, I have to define the data type. Whatever data type you want to enter, you have to define here. For example, if I want to write a data type according to the string, I can write here this string. But in this example, I will show you how can we do the integers here, because in the previous tutorial, I already showed you about the string. So for the integer, guys, the important thing is that you cannot write here int, simply int, okay. For that one, you have to write here integer, the proper form, the full form here, like this. So make sure that your first character, should be capital. If you want to write here double, then you have to write here double D with the capital letter here, like this. But for this example, I'm going to write here integer. So that's why integer. And after that, we have to give a name to our array list. So that name is up to you, whatever you want to give. But I'm going to write here num. That is the name of my array list. And then again, I have to use here new array list. Okay, new array list. And again, I have to use these two diamond symbols here. And after that, these parentheses. But now again, as you can see, there is still an error in the array list. Why? I will show you. When I move my cursor to here, as you can see, again we have to import a library. That name is ArrayList library. So when I click here, as you can see, this one is our library, java.util.ArrayList. So after that, actually, I want to make this example similar with the array so that I don't want to confuse you. You can also use some other different techniques, different methods to take an input, but I will do it very simple for you. So our first step is we will ask from the user how many values he wants to enter, because you know that array list can shrink automatically. We don't want to specify any size for the array list. For the array, we have to specify the size first, but for the array list, we don't need to specify the size because it can shrink automatically according to the data entries. But here, first I will ask from the user how many entries he wants to do. So for that one, I will use system.out and I will display a message to the user here. So how many values do you want to enter? So here the user will tell how many values he want to enter. Okay. So before that, here I will create one integer variable to store the number of entries. Okay. So for that one, simply I can use here size. Okay. The variable name is size here, and I will store this value in the size. Okay. Size is equal to, here I will use the name of my scanner, scan dot, as you can see here, next integer. So here what will happen, the user will enter the size, how many values he want to enter. In other words, that amount will be stored into this size variable, okay. So now after that, what I have to do, you can say that until now we have get how many values the user want to enter, and now I have to store that values into the array list, okay. So now I will display a message to the user here, please enter the values, okay. Okay, please enter the number, you can say, please enter the number, okay. So here we have I have displayed the message to the user here, and now I have to use for loop and integer. So first I will create an index that will iterate from the 0 to the size, okay. So for that one I will create integer I is my variable, and it will start from 0, because you know that our array always start from the index 0. So then I is less than, so you can say that I should be less than the size, okay, and I plus plus. So I will increment my loop every time. So here what will happen, now I have to store the values in my array list. So what is the name of my array list? That is num. So I will use here within this for loop, I will use here num dot add. So in the previous video I already told you that, so if you want to add something, add a data into your array list, you have to use this method, this dot add, okay. So num is my name of array list, and then add method will add the data into the array list. So here now add, now I'm using I will get the values by the scanner class. So here I will use scan dot next integer, okay. So now as you can see, until now you can say that we have successfully taken the values from the user. Now I have to display an output. So for the output, what will happen, I will use for each loop for the to get the output, okay. So for that one, here first thing we have to uh, get the values from the number array list, this one num array list. So I will write the name of my array list, that is num. So in the left hand side of the name I will use these two dot here, these two colon, and then our array list type is integer. So for that one again I have to create one integer variable, okay. That variable you can give any name, but I will use here for example value, okay. So here I use this one value. So now I will print sorry, not using system out, okay. Now I will print my value, this one. So now how this for each loop will work. So as you can see, when our for each loop will run for the first time, so it will get the 0th index element, 0th index value from the number, this one the array list, okay, and it will assign the value to here our next variable, that is value, and I am printing this value here, okay. So for the second time again it will run, it will get the second index value, and then it will give this one to the value here, and I will print the value variable here, okay. So now let's see what is our result, and let me execute this one here. So how many values do you want to enter? This one is our first message here. For example, the user said that I want to enter 5 values, okay. So now please enter the number. Now I have to enter the number here, I mean the 5 values here, okay. So my first value is for example 1 2 3 4 5, okay. So as you can see, this one is our output, this one, okay, until this 5. Now for example, if you want to enter here the double value, so for the double value what you have to do is you have to remove this one here, and you will write here double, okay. This one, that data type is double, and as you know that here again this one scanner class. So instead of this integer here, for the, because we are dealing with a double, I will remove this one, I will write here next double, So here as a next double. So now next table, and this number, as you know that now our array list is related to the double data type. So here in the values, again I have to remove the integer and I will write here double. So whatever the data type in your array list is, that same data type you have to create in your for each loop. Okay, now for example, if I will run this one again, how many values do you want to enter? For example, I want to enter just 2 values here. Okay, so please enter the values here. I'm going to write here 0.22, then 6.55. okay, so as you can see, this one is our output.
So guys, that's it for today. If you like the video, subscribe my channel, write your comments, give your opinion and share it with your friends. See you in the next video with the new topic. Take care.